The artwork is one of the biggest factors that will immediately signal to players what the feel of the card game is. Is your game serious? Is it cute? Or is it playful? Factors like the art style, font, and colors, among many others, will immediately influence how your players perceive your game. The theme of the game is one thing, but the art style also has a crucial role in determining how people see your game. In the case of my game, Contraband, there were heaps of ways I could take the artwork. I could have gone with gritty and grungy, considering the connotations around the word contraband, but I didn't want my game to end up being too dark and serious. But I also didn't want to completely lose that cool factor that comes from the players being bad guys. In the end, I ended up going with recognizable and playful by basing my artwork around the pictograms found in airports. In case you don't know what a pictogram is, they're the signs you see made of stick figures and icons. Even though these pictograms are pretty tame, they still allude to plenty. There are plenty of ways to create the artwork. For this project, I chose to create it using Adobe Illustrator. Some card game manufacturers will even provide you with the Photoshop and Illustrator templates for each type of print they offer, which is really useful. Here's an example of a template I found on one card game manufacturer's website. The template takes care of the dimensions, bleed lines, and text requirements for me. Even if you don't want to physically print out your cards, a template like this one will still help you keep the artwork consistent in terms of composition. Something that I didn't consider enough during my first attempt at the artwork was the importance of consistency. I've thought about using text and borders in order to maintain a consistent layout across the cards, but in my case, that didn't quite cut it. Because I originally used different colors as the background of each card, it started feeling to me that the cards weren't a part of the same game. I improved the consistency of the cards by choosing and sticking to a color scheme, and this seemed to nicely set the tone for my game. If you want a physical card game, you're ready to print as soon as you've finished the artwork. Small print runs can be quite expensive in comparison to buying in bulk, but you probably want to start off with a couple of small print runs because your artwork might not come out perfect on the first go. If you want an online card game, you'll need to create your artwork into sprites. To do so, you'll probably end up using a sprite sheet. A sprite sheet is a pretty common way to organize your artwork, and it's basically just one big image containing all your different artwork. Game graphics are stored in sprite sheets because they reduce the loading time and memory usage of the game. We had one sprite sheet containing all the different types of cards, and another one for the animated carousels on the side. You will also need to create something called a JSON file so the game knows which part of the sprite sheet you want to reference at different times. For a card game, the JSON file's job is to cut out each type of card from the sprite sheet. By entering data about how many pixels away each card is from the top left corner of the sprite sheet, as well as the dimensions of one card, the game is able to work out how to cut out the cards from the sprite sheet. So those were some of the challenges you can expect to encounter and overcome when you start designing the artwork for your card game. In the next video, we'll wrap this series up by discussing how to build an audience for your game. If you'd like to try out my game for yourself, check out my free game using the link in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.